Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gon of Work to Live podcast version. This time, what I'd like to talk about is that, you should get used to poor condition, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So, maybe, even in your country, maybe in most countries, fire is famous. So, to start with, the fire I'm talking about is not the fire flaming was that hot fire. Well, the fire I'm talking about is financial independence and retire early, which is the fire I'm talking about. So if you're used to poor conditions, you can survive at a low cost of living, which is why it's possible. You can easily achieve fire stage, like which if you are used to poor conditions, you can get many benefits from, for example, one of the benefits is like you can survive only a small amount of asset. For example, if you spend a lot of cost but only by living, you need a lot of, for example, you need a lot of dividends or a lot of rents you have to get from your own assets, like which if you are used to poor conditions, for example, you don't need to earn a lot of money. So if you'd like to achieve fire stage, you can the amount of the time you have to work, it can be shorter comparing with people who need a lot of costs of living. And here I'd like to introduce a food which is a Japanese cuisine, and that is soba. And soba is a noodle, and soba, the material of soba is grown up in a type of soil having few nutrients, or soba is possible to be raised with a soil which is short on nutrients, like which Japanese culture is generally speaking, Japanese cuisine are not so rich comparing with Chinese cuisines, and like which, for example, soba is a typical example. Soba that doesn't need so long time to raise. So it's possible to how should I say, it's easy to raise soba, and you don't have to need a lot. You don't need a long time to raise soba. So I'm sorry for this Japanese sound. Maybe that is a ambulance. Anyway, you don't need a long time to raise soba. Maybe 3 months are enough, according to a source of information. The source is Wikipedia. And another culture is that in some regions in Japan, people eat insects. Insects have proteins, and by eating insects, people can get proteins. So why those local people ate or had eaten insects is because they did not have foods to eat. So we do not have to eat insects because we have a lot of stuff to eat. We have other stuff to eat except for other than insects. So maybe the local people didn't have food except for insects, which is why they began to eat those insects living around themselves, living around those local people. So like which if I'm not telling you to eat insects. I don't recommend you are eating insects. But if you are used to poor conditions, you can get many benefits, which is what I like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.